I've been a late-night radio DJ for 10 years, and I've heard it all. Prank calls, lonely souls, and urban legends. But last night at 3:15 a.m., the air in the studio turned ice cold. I was mid-sentence when the frequency started to glitch. A high-pitched screeching sound filled my headphones. I tried to adjust the dials, but they were stuck. Then the screeching stopped, replaced by a low rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap, tap. It sounded like someone was knocking on a glass window from the other side. "Hello? We're experiencing some technical difficulties," I said into the mic, my voice trembling. Suddenly, a caller connected. There was no ringing sound. They were just there. The line was silent for 5 seconds, and then a woman's voice whispered, "Is it still red?" "Excuse me, is what red?" I asked. "The carpet," she replied. "The one you hid me under in 1994. My heart stopped. I've lived in the studio's building for years, and I knew the legend of a missing intern from the 90s, but that was just a story, or so I thought. I looked down at the floor. The old gray carpet started to turn dark, like liquid was soaking through from beneath it. A deep, metallic smell of blood filled the room. "I can see you through the monitor," the voice continued. I looked at the studio monitor. The screen was black, but in the reflection of the glass, I saw a woman standing directly behind me. She was pale, her clothes were tattered, and her eyes were sewn shut with black thread. I spun around. Nobody was there. But when I looked back at the monitor, she was closer. She was reaching out for my neck. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The radio broadcast was still live, and thousands of people were listening to the sound of my gasping breath and the rhythmic tapping on the glass. "Your turn to hide," she whispered. "I woke up this morning on the studio floor. The carpet is gray again. Everything looks normal, but when I put on my headphones to start the morning show, I didn't hear the music. I heard my own voice from last night, screaming for help, and then a faint, rhythmic tapping on the glass. I have been a late-night radio DJ for 10 years, and I've heard it all. Prank calls, lonely souls, and urban legends. But last night at 3:15 a.m., the air in the studio turned ice cold. I was mid-sentence when the frequency started to glitch. A high-pitched screeching sound filled my headphones. Then the screeching stopped, replaced by a low rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap, tap. It sounded like someone was knocking on the studio glass from the other side. Suddenly, a caller connected. A woman's voice whispered, "Is it still red?" "The carpet. The one you hid me under in 1994. My heart stopped. I looked at the studio monitor's reflection, and I saw a woman standing directly behind me, pale, with her eyes sewn shut with black thread. I spun around, but nobody was there. The tapping on the glass grew louder. Bang, bang, bang. The woman's voice hissed, "Look under the desk, Selman." Bolt? I reached down and found an old cassette tape from 1994, covered in dust. The moment I touched it, the lights shattered. In the pitch black, I saw her sitting in my chair, wearing my headphones. "Tonight's show is dedicated to the one who replaced me," she said, but it was my voice coming out of her mouth. She turned her head 180 degrees to look at me, and I felt my body turning into gray mist. I was becoming the frequency. If you are listening to this right now, turn off your radio, because if you hear a tapping on your window tonight, it is not a ghost. It is me, trying to get back.